Duma Kumalo. My dreams shatter and shatter after the long distance marching to my grave. I grow aware that I missed a lot in my childhood. I did not know things. Some say I do good for the people. I am there as a wounded healer. What I know is that I was born to witness evil being done by one human being to another human being. I come from Sharpeville, South Africa. In the 80s, our township were governed by black councillors who were used by the apartheid government. There was a lot of tension, and when the councillors increased our rent, no one could afford to pay. That's when the trouble started. On the 3rd of September, 1984, the lives of 5 other people were forced along the same path as mine. Jajasi Fata was 32. He sold fruit at the taxi rank in town. Malebu Rit Mukwena was 20. He worked in a factory and had 1 child. Opa Diniso, who is known as Coach, was 32. He was passionate about golf. He was married with 2 children. THERESA RAMASHAMOLA was 25. She worked as a cook and waitress at the Beggar Box Roadhouse. Francis Don Mogesi was 30. He was married and had a child. He worked at the supermarket but was also a professional football player. I was studying to be a teacher and I supported myself by selling pots and pens. I was 27 years old and I had a 4-year-old son called Lucky. On the 2nd of September, there were rumors that people are going to march to the administration offices. The grievances was a rent boycott. On the 3rd in the morning, we went to the main tie road, which will lead us to the administration offices.
There was rage in the air, and there was smoke, and the police, and groups, and knots of people, and marches coming and going. The administration buildings seen as being associated with government, with state, were rapidly becoming targets of the gathering crowds. There was smoke and there was attacks going on simultaneously. So it was a bad day for everyone.
So a lot of people coming towards me, singing, chanting, doing everything. One of them get hold of me, asking me, "Where are you going?" Tell him, "I go to work." He said, "No, it's not a working day today. So we are going to fight for rent."
I think it was 7 o'clock when I get up. Then my mother said to me, "Don't go there." I said, "No, I want to see what's going on." I just get out, there's a hole there at the fence. Just go out of that hole and dress my dress right at the street and run and go there. I meet them there. I ask them what's going on. They say, "Now we are starting, we are going to the administration board."
Before the march could start, they start shooting at people or at random, and the mob dispersed.
When I hear some gunshots, people, when I look through the window, people were running away, and I could see that the situation is tense. This thing is going to be a war.
We decided to go to Kuzai Jacob Dlamine's house as he was the deputy mayor of Sharpeville, and we wanted him to go with us to the administration offices. When we get there, he was standing outside and he started shooting.
And then people started to get cross that we don't fight with you. We are going to the administration board, and you started to shoot. Why are you shooting? The answer is say, I'm not going to stand for the dogs. I'm going to kill the dogs. And then the answer was, if you are going to kill the dog's going to beat you first.
Someone was injured by the name of Mango Miekiti, who cried for assistance, and I took him to the nearest house.
The police came from down the street. And then when we tried to run away, is that I get the bullet shot here, the rubber bullet on the head.
They burned the car. They throw petrol bombs inside the house, and the disease came out, running from fire and smoke. So he was caught up and beaten to death. He was thrown on top of a burning car.
I was nowhere when he was killed, but I was part of the crowd that was marching. I was one of the people who were loading the bottle store and the supermarket. And then it was some kind of a festival, and then we thought that that day it was the end of the apartheid.
There was a rolling uprising going on, which after 2 or 3 months was beginning to spread around the country.
3 months later, there was a knock.
I opened the door. The first man to came in was a schoolman, a bully policeman. He said, "VS Duma." Said, "I am." And when I went outside, there were many police. There were about 4 cars, and some were standing in the corner of the garage, corners of the house, as if, I don't know, going to fetch a murderer or a terrorist.
There were 2 brutal policemen. Schoolman was white and Matunzi was black.
You just hear the knocks on the door, knocking, windows, noise. Schoolman hit me. This black one, Matunzi, came again, hit me with the fist. You know Jaja? Yes, I know Jaja. Jaja said we've got the councillor's gun. I said no. I was not there. And I never went there. He started swearing at me now. I must not talk nonsense, I must not talk shit. They want that gun. They hit me in the bedroom, in the passage, till outside. Matunzi Onoawe was still hitting me, asking me, where's the gun, where's the gun? One question, one answer, one question, one answer.
My mother asked them, where are you, you took my child, where are you going with my child? He said, that is not your business.
6 of us were arrested and taken to the police station. They accused us of killing Dlamini.
Taking us one by one, questioning us, torturing us, questioning us, torturing us. And then they put the bandage all over my face, my hands at the back. While I was sitting, I heard the shocking. Now I must talk or cry, but because of the bandage, I just Then I fell down. But because they hit me so much, I could not even cry now.
It's the white lady, she's tall, young and slender. She's a nice lady, but she will beat you. She will beat you until she feels that she's tired. After that, you'll see the big man just came and beat you, say, you are going to tell us who killed Lamin.
Without touching me, he just said to me, tell me, what do you know about the 3rd of September? But in his face, you could see cruelty, that he could do anything which he wanted to do. I told him that I don't know anything. And I told him that I was part of the crowd. And he just told me that you'll never see your parents, we are going to lock you for 6 months or 12 months in solitary confinement. You'll never see even your lawyer. The state could keep you in jail without charging you for as long as they wanted. They take you from home and lock you up in a cell. They denied you the rights of freedom of anything, but they gave you a Bible.
We're in a room. They've got papers. They let me see this side, that side. Mr. Ritmugwena, we are here to help you. If you can tell us the truth, before the Christmas time, you'll be at home. I said, thanks. So tell us the story. I tried to tell them what I know. How I escaped from the tear gas, how the police shot people, how I was arrested, what happened to me. But they said, no shit, you're not telling the truth. In fact, they wanted me to admit that I throw a stone to Dlamini. When I deny, now they become aggressive now. Because I knew what happened to me before. I said, let me agree with them before they can take me to torture. I said, gentlemen, I was with a mob. We went to Dlamini's place. I take a stone, throw Dlamini with the stone. And then the police came to us, shoot at us, and then I ran away. He said, very good boy, very good boy.
I was kept in solitary confinement for 5 months before being charged with murder. On the 23rd of September, 1985, our trial began.
You have to see the trial in the context and the background of a state which felt it was under attack from subversive forces. And you see it in the context of fear. Fear of the white population.
The state alleged we were part of the crowd who had killed Dlamini. They brought witnesses to give evidence against us.
The evidence showed that there was no planning of an offense. They did not plan an attack on the deputy mayor. In fact, we still don't know who set the deceased alight. We don't know who started the attack. We don't know who set his vehicle alight. But the state was able to find people to identify individuals in this crowd. And the only way they could find these people guilty was to use common purpose.
In the final judgment, we were convicted of common purpose, that is, of being part of the crowd that caused Dlamini's death. But the judge acknowledged that none of us were directly responsible for his murder.
The state needed results. The state needed to tell the world that these were simply criminals and this wasn't a political issue at all. These were just simply rioters.
So no, I cannot say that it was proven beyond reasonable doubt that all of them went there with the intention to kill. No. It could be that they were innocent bystanders and then just joined the mob. I don't know.
I choose number 2, stand up. I stand up. What are you asking? Simple thing. Please, gentlemen, I've done nothing. You heard from the court there was no state, even a state witness who said I've done this and this. So it's my birthday today. I'm doing 21st day to my 21st birthday. So please release me so that I can go and live with my family.
I told the judge that he have accepted a lie to come to the court, and he decided to sentence me for things I haven't done. I said, let the law take its course. He said, you'll go back to where you come from and you'll hang by the neck until you die.
We heard a lot of noise, as if it's a zoo. We ask ourselves, is it this place full of people? We thought we were just about 6 of us going to die. But we found a lot of people there. I was crying. It was hard to believe that it's me inside this cell waiting to die.
We became known as the Sharpeville Six. We were sent to death row, a living graveyard.
They didn't care about us. And then they hurt us. That man, when he came, said, "Oh, you're still alive? Don't worry. The day will come, you're going to hang." Every time when he came, he won't just came and take the statement. Every time when he came, he said, "You're not going to survive, you're going to hang."
I went to a doctor and complained about the pimples in my face. He said to me, "What is the reason of giving me a treatment for those things? Because I'm going to die. This is not a beauty contest."
That place was meant for racism, that one. When you are a black man there, you're nothing.
Food are rotten. You'll see the worms, the oats, rice, but you'll just close your eyes and eat. The thing that you'll see is the big cockroach. And I hate that big cockroach. I was afraid of that big cockroach. And then when sometimes when he get the chance to get inside your cell, he will fight with you. You don't want to die. Flee. You want to take the pillowcase. You can't. You see. Then you can't sleep.
I stayed in death row for 3 years. In that 3 years, almost every day people were hanged. During festive season, more people were hanged in death row. And while they do this, the death row used to be decorated with colors and balloons.
December 1985, they hanged 25 people. I didn't believe that day. In 7 minutes' time, they were finished, flat. I couldn't believe. The blood were moving in our storage.
On the 25 of December, they'll bring some sweets and put them next to the door, to each door. And one will come with the key and open, you take those few sweets. I don't think those bloody people, they even feed their dogs like that.
The gallows was the only non-apartheid place in the prison because they all went out, feet first, as they said.
In 1964, Hugh Lewin, a political activist, was sent to prison for 7 years. His cell was next to death row.
There'd be this long build-up of sound echoing through the prison, and everything is concrete. You have no cover, no curtains, nothing soft in prison at all. So the sound echoed, and you'd have the songs going on and on and on through the week. And then suddenly, boom, 5 o'clock, it would stop.
Those who died, they are safe because there's no more pain. The pain always remains with the living. They leave us with a burden because their faces is always with us.
There'd be this noise coming from just the other side of the small door. And the first time it happened, I said, "Well, what is that noise?" And they said, "Yeah, it's the coffins." There was often blood on the steps as we went through, and with some sawdust scattered on the blood. And said, "But why blood?" And they said, "Well, don't you realize what happens when with an execution?" And then you begin to realize what the reality of the situation is. And on the one hand, it's completely ordinary. There's you locked in a cell, and the cell opens, come the state, and you're taken off, and then suddenly, bang, you're dead, and your face has been pulled off.
You knew your time was up when the sheriff came to your cell. He would take your card from the door and you were moved to the section called the port. Why I remain with many faces is that the kind of a friendship you create while in prison, it's so strong. And the next day, the person is being taken for execution. There was this song which we used to sing for those who will be hanged. It says, go well, my friends. Wherever you are, you should remember us. We'll always remember you. Our hearts are in pains, but we'll always remember you. It is Sergeant Jaws. He used to hate me, I know. He opened it, Tsepo's door and mine, and say, back, back, back. So I was so confused. And when you start moving, you can't hear that you are moving. It seems as if you are flying, you see. And then people start saying, goodbye, goodbye, goodbye.
From the door, they took my card number. Then we went. In the office, I can see the tension that, no, this is not a home go. So we are going for an execution.
They give us 5 days instead of 7 days. We are arguing, say, what about 2 days? There was no reason to fight for that 2 days. But we wanted to say something to have some kind of a resistance. They say, no, write a letter to Chief Justice. That's nonsense. How long will the letter take? The letter will always find us dead. We were scared that we will be hanged without our families being informed. Fortunately, word got out.
We didn't know about what's going on with THERESA because now she was in the ladies' sections. We just, I can feel that how hard it was for THERESA because she was alone. At least with us, we were 5. At least there was a support that we give each other.
They told me that there's a visitor. I go there, I found Father Noonan, Patrick Noonan. But you can see on his face that he was crying. He was red, he was crying. I asked him, Father, what's going on?
3458. Stand.
We were weighed and measured for the hanging. At that moment, I lost the will to live.
32 centimeters.
I eat the grapes, the oranges with I didn't take out anything. I just eat. I say, I don't want to die angry. My heart is very, very sore. I don't want to die angry.
The pain which accompanied those moments, no words can match. We were knowing our fate now that we are going to die. It's over. Let it happen.
The warder said that time is up. I mean, these are final, not just final days and final hours, but final minutes. Being with people whose life is going to be snuffed out in a few hours. Well, I didn't get any theological training in ushering people to death. And when the window was being closed and the blind was coming halfway down, I tried to get into each cubicle and I just said, we're with you. That they'd be brave, that they'd be remembered, and that it wasn't the end, you know. And then we were ushered out and they were taken away and we just last lingering looks.
While I was saying goodbye to my father, our attorney entered. He raised his fist. We didn't understand the reason. And he said, "We have won."
I remember that when Prakash walked out of the court building, the crowd actually carried him shoulder high across the square in front of the court.
I'm relieved for the time being. The matter is definitely not over. Anything can happen. There are a lot of possibilities.
We didn't know what it is that we have won. When he explained to us, he said we got stay for execution. It means our life was going to be spared for some time. We were supposed to be happy, but we were confused because we used to build a hope, but our hope used to be shattered. We were given a stay of execution 15 hours before facing the hangman. We returned to death row, uncertain whether the rope was still hanging over our heads or not. Can you imagine? When they're about to hang people, they used to give them 7 rands and a full chicken to eat. How cheap was the life of a black man?
When I get to my cell, I found that big dish with a full chicken. I just took that dish, swearing at it, put it down, kicked it to the passage.
9 o'clock, it was a parade. Everything came back immediately, and I said to him, "Can I see the priest?" Because knowing exactly that by 9 I was supposed to be called. You see. Adjutant Mabena came to me rushing and said, "You have just seen the priest yesterday. You want to see the priest again?" There was a big book like this which we were supposed to sign. Jaja refused to sign. I honor those kind of resistance in a different way. Say, "No, I don't want to die. Why should I sign this book?" But one thing for sure, they were going to use force early in the morning before execution because you could cry, you could do anything, but you are going to sign it.
The following day, the white ladies here, that there's a white prisoners were staying there. They just say, hey, Theresa, we hear the news. We hear the news. Just they were friendly. We hear the news, we pray for you, you pray. Just like that day, I was very happy, really.
One must remember that the 6 individuals, if you look at them as people, they were not celebrities. They were very ordinary people. But they were catapulted into virtual celebrity status at the time. And everybody in the world knew who the Sharpeville 6 were. And they, in turn, began to symbolize something. They began to symbolize the struggle that was happening in the country.
Yesterday in Sharpeville Township, a service for the 6 on death row. The packed church, evidence of the degree to which the community has rallied behind the grieving relatives. In townships throughout the country, thousands are signing petitions calling for clemency to be extended. They'll be delivered to the only man who can now save the Sharpeville 6, the state president, P.W. Botha.
There was national and international pressure on the government to save the Sharpeville 6. 9 months after the initial stay of execution, they commuted our sentences. I was sentenced to 25 years. I had been on death row for 3 years. In 1991, a year after Mandela was released, we were given our freedom as part of the political negotiations.
Prakash had phoned to say they'll be out, but he does not think they'll come home that same night because it was dark they feared for their lives, but they arrived the same evening. And we did not know what was going to happen. We did not know what was going to happen when they just got out of the cars. I just stand there and smiled. And then after some time, I rushed to him and then I hugged him. We were so happy, and it was also painful. We never believed that day will come.
Betty was my girlfriend before I was arrested. I've been jailed for 7 years without meeting an opposite sex. She became pregnant 2 days after my release. I said, shit, I nearly got hanged before seeing a child grow up next to me. It is so good.
Like he's my firstborn, I met his mother when we were still at school.
Ngangine 11 years baba makephuma ejele. Ithe makafika ntambama ebusuku lokho ne. Ngangisaba ukusondela phambi kwakhe but mina ngingatshela ukuthi hey impilo yami lapha at least izaze ichange ngomva kwesikhathi eside. Nami ngizophila ilife efana nabanye abantwana.
Facing death, it was painful. But facing life after facing death, it is more painful.
Life was totally different. You have been fed while in prison. Outside, you ought to go and find work and start taking responsibility, of which it was difficult, actually, even to get a job. My life was going down every minute. Every second, my life was going down.
I even feared that he can commit suicide. So I could not rest even at work. I was worried always, but I did not know where to go, how to help him. I wanted to help, but I could not. I did not know how to help.
Because he expected to die, he did detach to some extent. I mean, I think it's a functional thing if you know, then in some ways you want to make contact with your family and with important people, but you also do withdraw some of your investment in the world.
He was coming home with like 700 rands per month and or to pay electricity, look after us, and the kid was born. It was after Christmas. I bought some skirts for her, you see, the women's skirts, and some frying pans. So when things start getting worse, terrible, I sold the skirts because she never wear them, waiting for them to fit her. I sold a frying pan. I sold some glasses. After some time, she wanted the skirts, but they were nowhere to be found. That's what I don't understand about Betty. I don't know whether she was cross or what. I said, I don't know. And I don't believe is there anything I can do to repair those things? Those were the moment immediately after they happened, I decided to go and make a sit-in at Sharpeville police station.
I decided to protest because I wanted a retrial. I didn't want the stigma of being called a murderer.
It was almost 31 days. They said we should go and talk with a chief prosecutor at Vereeniging who, when they left, he showed me a book of the case that I was found guilty by the court of law, all that nonsense. And why don't I go to Mandela, because we were fighting for Mandela, mocking me now because I was on my own. There was no one to hear what he was saying. We were together, we were only two of us. Coming home, holding a blanket, it was some kind of a defeat to me. To some people, it was some kind of a madness. I'm not sure, maybe I was. But on the 5th January, I took an ex with me, went back to the court. And the same prosecutor was there in that court, alone. I said, yes, I'm back now. And I took an ex, he ran away, thinking that I'm coming for him. When he went out, I chopped all the tape and other stuff. The policeman came in holding a firearm. I put an axe down, raised my hands. So everybody was watching me in the court, you see, being taken to the cells. When my case was heard, Jill Eagle explained to the court the trauma I had suffered. I was given a 12-month suspended sentence. Jill introduced me to Kolomani, a support group for victims of apartheid violence. Being traumatized. It's a big book, bigger than the Bible itself. And to deal with it, you ought to 10 pages. I started meeting people who were in pain like me. You see, it relieved something in me. And I end up earning a good salary. After earning a good salary, I keep on turning pages. It's when I become aware that it's not only the issue of money. There is another part also in me which need also to be helped.
The sort of protests that Kolomani's been involved in, and Duba's been at the forefront of quite a lot of that. And I think that perhaps while he hasn't been able to get the kind of justice he wanted around his court case and the legal conviction, that some of the sense of calling public attention to people who don't have a voice, that's also been important for him. So I think at the level of being a kind of wounded healer, it's been both about understanding people and facilitating other people being able to talk about things.
Paulina Mlangeni, ke dula Boipatong. Ka di 1792, mona Boipatong, ke ile ka bolaela ngwana ka wa ngwanana. O na le 9 months pregnant. Ba ile ba mo thunya, ba mo hlaba. Empa le ha o le jwalo, o siile ngwana.
I was invited to tell my story at the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. It was established to examine the gross human rights violations committed under apartheid. When I saw Steinberg outside the hearing, he hugged me. He was a prison warder on death row when I was there.
And at about 6:30 or thereabouts, I'm not entirely sure of the time, the ministers would then move out, and these 7 people would then meet again. Their hands were cuffed behind their backs, who would then move with them down the passage, and by then it was deadly quiet. They still sang and prayed, they greeted their people, their friends. Then we moved to the gallows room. I started noticing that many of these people were shivering and nervous and tense.
I've many times had to clean up the mess after a black person had been executed. It was my job. That was what was expected of me. I cleaned up the place afterwards. There was no apartheid there. That was your job.
The executioner would execute 7 people at a time. What would happen is that the person would come in, these doors would be closed. The person would stand, as you can see, there are feet marks on the wooden boards. They would stand back to back.
It will be placed on his head like this and then lowered in this fashion.
When you stated that a certain warrant officer was to come here, I had a rope with me. I wanted him to demonstrate to us how they prepared this noose, because he was going to put it around my neck.
I got healed for certain hours after telling my story at the THERESA. Some were crying. You feel at ease that there are people who are with you. Think the pain, that pain is still with me. And then it can only be removed if justice can be done, the truth can be known. EBEN JORDAAN prosecuted our case. He asked for a death penalty. I didn't know what it is that I'm going to say to him. There were tears in me, there was a tension.
Hello, Mr. Kumalo.
Oh, yes.
How are you?
I'm fine.
Okay, man. How are you, man? Oh, long time no see. Right? Have a seat.
I don't know. Maybe you're doing your job at that time. If we were hanged, it would have been taken that they were all guilty.
Well, in the judgment of the court, you were all guilty. How long were you on death row?
I stayed in death row for 3 years.
3 years. Oh.
And then we were saved 15 hours before execution.
Yeah. Yeah, that must have been terrible.
Yes. I always wonder how many innocent people have been hanged.
One can make a mistake because humans are sitting on the bench, not gods.
Thank you. I hope we see each again.
I hope we see you again. Thank you very much. Thank you.
When I saw him, something was relieved in me. I'm interested in learning about the Holocaust because there is a bond between people who survived death. We share the nightmares together wherever we are. I was invited to Robben Island to a conference about alternative truth-telling. Some of the people whom I met there have experienced most terrible human cruelties being done by one man to another. I met 2 extraordinary people there. Pedro was tortured while in prison in Chile, and Steve's parents survived the Holocaust.
When my father and his brother and my grandfather were at Auschwitz, a Nazi commander in the selections was playing a cruel game, which they play from time to time, and said he needed 500 Jews. My father was number 500, and my grandfather and and the uncle that I would have had were 501 and 502. And so the lines divided. When my grandfather was walking into the death line, he saw a young child who was confused and upset. And the last act in his life was simply to embrace the child and to think of the child. And that was the last time my father saw my grandfather. And I've always found that to be a very inspiring story. And now when I teach, I tell students that that means that no matter what you've done in life, it's never too late to reach out to somebody else. And I think we have very powerful stories to tell, and that we need to tell them in ways that reach out beyond ourselves.
Sergeant Dlouf, a tsamaje. Hey, ha batho ba le ka pitseng kapa batho ba tlo a ba tsamaje. A ba re ke tlo bona diphoofolo tsaka. He monna diamond. Hey, ya ke mo leba. Sergeant
o na le pelo e ka wa lawyer lo lo.
Ya re ne ka wa lawyer man.
Ba mo garantsa tlola ka mollo da a bile ntho ka leshala.
Ke yona ba tsa sebete na bolae batho.
A ke ba batla di promotion.
Bana batla promotion.
I don't want a superficial coming back of us. If we want really coming back, we should talk about what happened.
Why o tshwantse re santsane re tlo bua dintho tse etsahetseng re le ka hare tronko empa re se re le kantle hore o tshwantse re shebane le ho etsa tšhelete re batlane le maphelo a rona rona a ho kae se ke ne ka re Duma o ntshwarisitse Scotch o ntshwarisitse Malebu o ntshwarisitse o di bona nthonyana tseo ha di na sense ene if o batla ho etsa ntho ne if re batla ho etsa ntho o utlwisisa re batla ho etsa re bene le something re je ke dumelana le wena ha le kgolo hohle.
I talked about two things with my co-accused. It's not only us. What about the family? The children of the men who died. They are orphans now. The fear is, if these children grow up with that mentality, they might want to avenge. They might even make our kids or our families not feel at ease because they might end up saying to them, we are what we are because of your father.
Duma still thinks the rope is still around his neck. If he can meet Dlamine's children, then the rope will be over. It will be off his neck.
This thing, it tends to be a stigma inside me. I was like somebody who cannot understand himself. Because when your mind and your body being apart, it means you are a living corpse. You cannot understand yourself. I don't like the style, this type of life I'm living. And I didn't think about that one day I will be out and selling liquor, being unemployed. So my ambitions were so high while I was still in prison. I can be forgotten, I don't mind, but I'm still alive.
Meaning to my life, and you know that you are all that I dreamed of. You are all that I think of.
I was sentenced to death, and God was there. I was arrested, God was there. I was nearly hanged, God was there. Now people say, God saved me not to be hanged. And then I say to people around the world, help me not to be hanged. Because if it was not the people, I would be dead today. So I don't know how to put God in my situation. I don't even pray today. I don't pray.
Reed is not working. Francis is not working. Reginald is not working. Diniso, he was working in Old Mushwara. I don't know what's going on now. Reginald, he sells fruits in town. But we fight for apartheid. That time that when I release ANC, they will know, and then they will know that I'm a first woman to sentence to death. Maybe they will comfort me or they will do something better for me. Okay, they gave me the job, but the job is nothing. I want their love, to show me their love. That's why I say here in South Africa, politics are for rich people. If you are poor, you are nothing.
I cannot keep quiet about what happened. If I do keep quiet, I will betray those who were executed.
Jabula masibuye